Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It's gonna be a bit of a rambling, just kind of chit-chatty video, so if you're not into that, I get it. We're gonna talk about a few things. Towards the end, we'll talk about my gastric bypass surgery and the fact that I just hit the 6-month mark and everything, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Just some things to kind of just ramble about. I don't know if any of you are followers or fans of Kevin Smith, but on Sunday night, I guess he had a massive heart attack and put him in the hospital, and they found a full 100% blockage of his LAD artery they call the Widowmaker or whatever. He's doing good. He just posted a video Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, and talking about, he did a live video to Facebook, just talking about how he's doing, and he feels great, he feels good, stuff like that. I have to say, it was weird reading that, because he's not terribly older than I am. He's about 13 years older than I am. And he's kind of been an inspiration. I'd say he has been an inspiration. Not necessarily creatively, but just the do it kind of outlook that he has. I was a fan of Kevin Smith when I was younger, and I kind of stopped following celebrities and things like that for a really long time, and then recently found him probably about 4 years ago on a podcast called Hollywood Babble. And I get it, if you're not into his stuff, he can be vulgar. So I understand people not enjoying some of his content. But since then, I've read his autobiography, which he actually reads, and there's a lot of stuff in it that he talks about and he goes on about that kind of hit home, especially when he starts talking about being a fat person living in a skinny person's world. So it was interesting to see somebody else's take on the world kind of be similar to my own. So I'd have to say, out of all the celebrities out there, if something were to happen to Kevin Smith, that one would kind of affect me a little bit. It would be rough, just because he's kind of been an inspiration. So but I guess he's doing better. I guess he's looking at life changes and things like that, which even he said, he's dropped about 90 pounds in the last year or so. So I know a lot of people complain or make fun of him because of his weight and stuff like that. So it was weird. It was weird seeing that tweet, and he tweeted it, and it was a picture of him in the hospital. So it's kind of mind-boggling because he's not that much older. So it was weird, but he seems to be in good spirits. Watched the video he posted. So he seems to be in good spirits. He seems to be bouncing back. His retelling of the story is a little funny, where he talks about how they had to put the camera in, and being in that situation, life and death, what his biggest worries were at that particular time. So it's good to see that he's feeling better. It's good to see that he's going to be able to go home. I think he was able to go home Tuesday. But at the same time, it's kind of a weird eye opener, because like I said, he's only 47. I'm 33. I'll be 34 this year. So it was just kind of shocking. So definitely glad he's doing all right. He's a big inspiration to a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have taken that next step, or that big step, creatively or just in life in general, because of words of wisdom that he's spouted at some time or another, in either his stand-up talk routines, or in his podcast, or his book. So just good thoughts for him, prayers for him, that he keeps feeling better. It's a weird subject to start this off with, but something I've been thinking about for a few days. The next thing I want to talk about, if you see me keep looking over here, I have kind of a general outline of what I wanted to get through. Life in general. So right now we're doing pretty good. I work full-time, Kristen works full-time, kids are in school, normal everyday stuff. We do have a trip planned this weekend to go to Orlando, but I mean, other than that, life seems to be going pretty well. No complaints. You know, it's been weird because for so long we struggled day to day, and it's weird to be in a situation where that's not the case. It's Kristen in the background. It makes you uneasy because you're always expecting something to fail, something to go wrong, something to happen to rip that stability out. So that's been kind of weird getting used to this year. So especially because even now, like, you know, we just talked about recently, because of everything that's happening and how we're doing, that, you know, we can look at possibly taking the kids on a cruise or a Disney cruise, or getting them SeaWorld passes, or, you know, I've always wanted to go see Harry Potter World. Like, all of that stuff is a possibility now, and so it's kind of weird to be in that situation. So I mean, yeah, it requires a lot of hours at work some weeks. Some weeks I'm just working those hours because they need me. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Do you ever feel that way? Do you ever get in a situation where everything's going smoothly, but you worry constantly that something's gonna happen? And that's just, you know, that's anxiety I think everybody goes through. But so that's just general life. It's a couple things I have in the works. I've always wanted to write a book, so I have started mapping that out. I've got 4 characters fairly mapped out, and they'll be the main characters. The rest of the characters I don't necessarily have to map out because they'll be like sub characters. I have one more character I need to map out. I don't really want to give anything away about the book just yet. Once I get the last character mapped out, I'm going to do an outline and then start writing it. My hope is to have a rough draft done before the end of this year. So hopefully that goes well. Hopefully I can stay focused on that. Kind of chunk out some time each week to just sit down and kind of smash out some letters on the keyboard. So that's a hope I have. I also have a script sitting around that I wrote for my thesis when I did my my degree, and I think I might look at sending that off to be read. I got to get it printed and bound, but I might look at sending that off to get it read and checked out, and who knows, maybe it'll go somewhere. If not, at least I will have tried. I think that's my thing, is just trying, so not just letting it sit there. I do have a couple hopes for some videos that I want to do. There's some things around Jacksonville, Florida that I want to go and explore and try and do some videos. There's one that I have planned out in my head creatively that is going to be a little bit of like a thank you or a hat tip to military. And I want to get down to St. Augustine and visit a couple of national parks and stuff like that. Take the kids and kind of let them enjoy it and have fun. There's a few down there, especially before it gets real hot during the summer. And I know we keep talking about wanting to hit the beach in the next few weekends. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Which I'm all for. I love the beach. Allie loves the beach. Jordan doesn't really care for the beach. Kristen, oddly enough, it's her idea to go. And she tends to be one of the ones that doesn't care to go to the beach, so that's kind of exciting that she wants to go and we'll get out there. I love the ocean, I love the water, and it's just a really beautiful, spiritual place to kind of go and relax. So now that's all said and done and rambled and whatever. Gastric Bypass. So I hit my 6 month this month on the 23rd of February was my 6 months. So I finally made it to my doctor. Those that follow me or have listened to me ramble, I was supposed to go back in January or in December, and I just got really busy and couldn't make it. So I rescheduled it for late in January when my doctor was back in town. I wrote the date down wrong. I wrote it as the 25th, and it was the 23rd. I already had February pre-scheduled as a follow-up to my 3 month because it was my 6 month. So I just left that one and went and did February's and met with the doctor's office there, and they weighed me, had some questions for me, asked me how I was doing, stuff like that. So, asked me how I was doing. How am I doing? I'm doing really good. I feel really good. I feel the change in not just physically, but I mean, I guess it's a physical sensation, but like, I don't know, I feel a lot better. And it's a new experience because, you know, before I had my surgery, months and months before, like there were days where I was just exhausted all the time. I didn't want to do anything, and like now it's like, let's go and keep going, you know? So that's been interesting, that bounce in energy. And you know, they asked me how I was doing on my diet as far as like maintaining my protein and exercise and things like that. So again, exercise, I get it in when I can, I walk when I can, but it's been kind of hard because I have been doing like 15 and 16 hour days at work, and then on top of that, an hour drive, you know, to and from work. So you're talking a 17, 18 hour day. I'm coming home, usually editing, and then getting a little bit of sleep. And then while I'm at work, I'll walk when I can when I'm not busy. So that's been the hardest part of this, is because of my work schedule and stuff like that, is the exercise. I've been getting in what I can, but it's not what I should be at, and I know that, and it's something I'm struggling with and trying to make happen. As far as the dieting and the eating goes, I'm staying on point with that. I get more than my 70 ounces of liquid a day. Usually I'm doing about 90 to 100 ounces of liquid, and I only drink unsweet green tea or water 95% of the time. The other time I take about 8 ounces of apple juice and add 16 ounces of water and ice and some lemon to it, and that's what I'll drink. I don't drink caffeine, I don't drink coffee, can't have sodas because of the carbonation, which sucks because like sodas were never a big thing for me as far as the flavor of the soda. I always looked for that carbonation burn. I know I've recently in the last few years found people that are like that too, but like it was never the flavor of the soda. I wanted it to burn going down. I love that carbonation burn, so can't have that anymore because it causes the stomach to expand, they think. So that's okay. I haven't had a soda in a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. I'm not a big drinker, but I mean, you're supposed to not have any alcohol for a year, but I'm not a huge drinker. I would only drink socially. So that kind of X's out beer because it's carbonated, which not a big deal. And then like other heavy alcohols, that's something you have to try at home, and I'm waiting that year mark before I worry about that, because your body, beforehand I had a very high alcohol tolerance. Now I have no idea how to work because my stomach's smaller and it bypasses part of the intestines. So if I decide to ever drink again, I'll have to do it at home first just to see how my body reacts. So it should be interesting. I'll maybe bring you along for that one. But as far as like protein and stuff goes, that's not hard to maintain. I've got to hit 95 a day. I usually hit it about 6 out of the 7 days in the week, and then there are just some days where I don't want anything, I don't want to eat anything, I don't want to deal with food, you know, and they said that's okay, that's fine, it's gonna happen. They said as long as I'm hitting it at least like 6 days out of the week, it's good. You know, so I stick to a lot of protein and veggies. Every now and then, I'll eat like a sandwich with bread, but I tend not to eat a lot of bread. It's I have to say I've been super lucky or blessed in this. It hasn't been crazy hard. I will say that after 6 months, you do start to get hungry again, just not as often, and not, within a few bites, you're like, okay, I'm done. And there are some days where, because I know a pound of ground turkey has 88 grams of protein, that's what I'm gonna eat that day, and I'll have that and maybe a protein shake. And maybe that's all I have the entire day, and it might take me 4.5, 5 hours to eat that pound of ground turkey. But because I know it's got the highest return for time, and then there are other days where I'll eat, cheese and tuna and random things that are high in protein and change it up. That's why you'll see a lot of the videos where I'm like cooking ground turkey and I'm adding all these different weird ingredients to it to just kind of change the flavor and make it interesting, because I've decided that week that ground turkey was on sale, so why not pick up 13 pounds of ground turkey and I'm good for 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks worth of food, So it hasn't been hard to maintain for me. I know that it is for a lot of people to do the surgery, but for me it's a mental game, and I just stay focused. I actually do a lot better at work as far as like maintaining my eating schedule and my vitamin schedule, because I'm there, I'm on a regimen, I've got a timer going when I'm home, and I can leave my phone in the bedroom and not look at it for 2 days. I don't hear my timer as often for my vitamins, stuff like that, but they did all the lab work and stuff on Friday, so I got to call her tomorrow and see how that all goes, and they'll decide if they want to put me on like vitamin D and because I'm lactose intolerant when it comes to like milk and like creams and stuff like that. I can have like cheese and yogurt, but anything like more milkier than that really just throws my stomach in a whirl. The other thing you can't have is more than like 10 or 15 grams of sugar per like meal, so you have to be careful with that. That's why like too much bread's a bad thing, because that just converts to sugar. And sometimes when I eat like a sandwich or something, if it's not like a whole wheat bread, or if I don't take one slice of bread and cut it in half and make a sandwich out of that, and I try and eat like 2 slices, like my stomach will get like blah filling, just because there's like the bread kind of like gobs up as it breaks down, and so it lasts longer in your stomach, because carbs are meant to be a filler food. So you have to be careful with that. When I do drink my green tea, I usually use Splenda, because if not, natural like white sugars and just normal sugar will completely tear your stomach up. I haven't done that. I haven't experimented with that. I'm very careful with how much sugar I intake, because before this process I was a diabetic. I'm not anymore, and I haven't been since surgery, but before this I was a diabetic, and I don't want to risk that ever being an issue again, on top of the fact that it can really ruin your day if you have too much sugar. So somebody asked me today if I had tested that limit, and I was like, nope, I don't want to. I've heard the horror stories, and I don't want to experience those. So it's definitely not an easy diet to maintain, but the good thing is that there are those, we'll call them punishments, if you don't stick to the diet. If you don't get your protein in, you start to feel weak. If you eat too many carbs, you start to feel lethargic and just like, if you eat too much sugar, your body's expelling it one way or another, on top of the fact that your stomach will like cramp and feel like you're being stabbed to death. You can't overeat. Like, you have to pay attention and eat slowly, and don't eat fast, because if you eat fast, then you're gonna burp for like an hour and a half. Or if you eat too fast and you overeat, you're gonna be in pain for an hour or two. So it's definitely not the gastric bypass surgery is not easy. It's not something to take lightly. And it's been a rough 6 months, in that aspect of it, but I still feel like it was the best choice, and I wish I had done it years ago. But that's just a choice that was made then instead of now, or now instead of then. So yeah. So has it been hard to maintain it? Yes and no. It's got its days, and some days it's a mental game, and some days it's a physical thing. Like for instance, now I know how much weight I've lost, but I've seen other people that had the surgery around the same time I did, and they've lost a lot more weight, and they were roughly the same size as me. But at the same time, they said because I'm hitting my protein goals so well and so on point, it's body mass that I'm losing instead of muscle mass. So I guess that's a good thing. That's complications. I haven't had any complications from my gastric bypass. The first couple months were weird. I have had a complication. I have had food get hung up twice, and that was during the early, like the second month maybe. It's like in October, so August, September, October. So the third month, happened twice in October. One was corn, and I ate it by mistake. It was, Kristen and I were sharing a meal, and it got caught up in what I was eating, and it hung in there, and that is not a pleasant feeling. Like when food gets hung, like it can't come out, and it can't go down, and your body doesn't know what to do. So it's rough, and you're in pain. And I think the other time it was like chickpeas or something. I haven't eaten corn since. I'm not a big corn fan anyways, but I do like chickpeas and hummus and stuff, so. But on that, no weird complications. My scars they mended fine. I mean, I've still got them. They're just like little red dots on my stomach right now. Not a complication, but weird because I've lost so much weight. There is like loose skin and stuff like that, particularly around my arms. So that's, I don't want to show you, it's kind of gross. And some other areas. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I've heard about other people's horror stories and complications of this surgery. And like I said, I've been really, really lucky and really blessed with it. So, any changes I'm looking to make right now? I definitely want to try and get more exercise in. And once a month we're headed to the parks, and I'm doing 20-25 miles in the weekend, but I'd like to also start doing that more throughout the week, because one of my main goals is to run a marathon. I definitely want to try a Disney marathon, so I want to build that up. I am going to start looking. Diamond Dallas Page has he does like a yoga course. I'm going to look into that because I've heard it's really good. Actually, Gooch from Disney Beams recommended it. He used it at one point. So I'm gonna look into that and try that, because he was saying for a marathon you really need good core strength, and the yoga will help you with that. So I think I'm gonna look into that and start that probably next week. And then again, I'm gonna try and get back on the elliptical more often, and build that up. I think the last time I was able to get on, I could do it for 30 minutes straight, be completely fine. And I want to get that to like an hour and 2 hours and things like that. So, any weird things that I miss post-surgery, 6 months out? Yeah, I mean, there's some foods that I can't have that I miss. They don't make a sugar-free, lactose-free ice cream. One of the weird things too, like I can't eat super hot food, not spicy, but temperature hot. Like I've got to get it to room temperature almost. Otherwise my stomach just doesn't like it. Like I can eat it, but my stomach doesn't like being that hot. So that's kind of weird. So it's got to be either room temperature or super cold. And I don't like cold food. So, I mean like drinks and stuff have to be super cold. One of the things that I honestly miss the most is being able to just chug ice cold water. I drink quite often, but I can only have like, I can only take in so many ounces before my stomach gets full, and I can't drink anymore. But like, yeah, like on a hot day, chugging like a big glass of ice water, I miss that. I miss that like sensation, that cooling sensation. So that's a weird thing to miss. I know it's a weird thing to miss. I understand. But that's probably the only thing I downright miss, is just being able to do that. I guess the really big question is, was it worth it? Would I do it again? With the knowledge I have now, with everything I've gone through, you know, and I guess I talked this up a little bit more than it was about how easy it was compared to other people's. But at the same time, make no mistake, this has been a seriously rough journey, and it's not going to get any easier as the years go on. It's going to get harder, you know, maintaining this diet and this pace. And I realize that, and I realize that it's going to get harder. And it's just as much a mental game as it is anything else. It's not an easy path. You know, there are some days where I look at my food and I'm like, I don't want this, but I know I have to eat it because I have to hit those protein goals, and those caloric intake goals. There are days I look at my drink and I'm like, I don't want any more. You know, I don't want any. I just want to go. I don't want food. I don't want drink. I just want to go. And the thing is with the surgery, I can do that and not realize it, but it'd be super detrimental to me in a short-term, long-term scenario. So yeah, whoever thought a fat guy would complain about having to eat? Yeah, there are some days it sucks, but it was worth it. It definitely was for me. I'm not saying it would be worth it for everybody. I'm not saying that that's the optimum choice for everybody, you know, because you've got to get right mentally before you do this surgery. Otherwise, you're not going to succeed, because it is a 95% mental game. The surgery makes the other 5% physical super easy, because you're not always hungry. You can't eat so much. You know, and what's weird is, even with that, like, knowing that, like, your stomach's only so big, and if you eat too much, it's going to hurt you, or you'll throw up, or if you eat too much, there's a possibility it could kill you. There's people that still fail on this surgery. There's still people that lose the weight and then quit, or think that they can stop following it, and then they turn right back around, and within a couple of years, they're back to where they were, and their stomach's stretched back out, and they just went through all that work for nothing. You know, what's the point? So I would say, if this is something you're considering, you need to talk to your doctor. You know, make sure you're right mentally, make sure you're right and ready physically before you even take that step. So, was it worth it for me? Definitely. Would it be worth it for you? I can't tell you that. I cannot give you that advice. I can only tell you to talk to a doctor and see what they say. Now, the big news. So, at my highest weight, I was 546 pounds. And that was about a month before my surgery. So, at my surgery, because 2 weeks before surgery, you go a full liquid diet. You can't eat anything but protein shakes and Jell-O and pudding. You're gonna drop a lot of weight. So, 546 a month before surgery, 520 right at surgery. As of Friday, February 23rd, I am down to 457 pounds. So from my highest, that's an 89-pound weight drop. So that was in July. So in 6 to 7 months, I've dropped 89 pounds. Given 20 of that was in a month prior to surgery. So if we take from my surgery weight to now, 520 to 457, I've dropped 63 pounds in less than 6 months. So it's pretty good. That's pretty awesome. I can definitely feel it. And if you take a look at this picture right here, you can see it. That picture is from that one picture is from July when we went to the beach, and then the second picture I just took a screenshot out of my barely balanced video. I took a screenshot from that. So you can look at my face and you can see how much my face is thinned out. I've thinned out in the shoulders. I'm still working on the gut. I want to get the gut gone because, you know, I want to wear, I've got a closet full of t-shirts that are like 3Xs that I'm dying to put on. I can wear a 5 just fine. Those new Mickey shirts, so I've got this one, the 2 white ones and the 2 black ones I bought. I think they got dried by accident, so I can't wear those now because they're basically a size 4 instead of a size 5. I can wear them, but they're not the length I like, so. But yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. I know this is a long one. It's like a 30-minute video. I'm going to try and edit it down as much as I can and get. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I love you guys. If you've got any questions about gastric bypass, if you've got any questions at all, if you just want somebody to talk to, I don't mind, you know. You can tweet me, you can leave me messages on Facebook, we'll chat. I enjoy talking to you guys. It's fun. It's been one of the biggest, coolest things about having this channel and watching this channel grow. Is all the new people I've met and all the new people I've been able to talk to and experience, you know, what they do on the day-to-day through their videos and talking with them. And I've made some pretty good friends through this, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm hoping I can become better friends with some of these people. So again, I love talking to you guys. You know, leave me comments. Let's talk. Tweet me. Love you guys. Till tomorrow. I'm gonna leave it in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's talk about gastric bypass.